So I want to show you something kind of fun that I'm doing in order to, well, one, kind of clean up a bunch of old crap that I've got physically laying around the house and turn it into real life assets that we could use in different types of 3D projects. So for example, I've got this piece of paper right here. This is old. It is written with a typewriter. And if you look up here in the corner here, you can see it's been written on, it's been stepped on, it's been sitting in a toolbox for a while. It is a thing that is kind of sentimental to me, and I've had it around for a long time. What does it mean? Well, don't worry about it. It means something to me. And so I was considering cleaning up and throwing some of this stuff away. And you've probably heard the kind of the thought process of if you want to clean house, you want to get rid of some stuff, it's sentimental, take a picture and then throw it away. This is an extension of that idea. So I went ahead and took a picture of this piece of paper. Then I bring it into Inkscape here and I go ahead and I make a mask for it. So first I'll come up here and kind of get rid of this here so you can see what's going on. So I've made a mask around this piece of paper. A little bit complicated because I wanted the holes to be transparent as well. Save it to say, you make some circles, you make this square around here. You can see I did this with a Bezier curve, right? And then you group those all together. You do that first, okay? And you do that with a path, union, and difference ultimately. And so then after that, then I take my picture over here. Let's hide some of this stuff here. So there's a piece of paper sitting on the floor. There's the mask. So now I can pick this, I can pick this, I can go object, and I can go clip, set, done. Okay, great. So the benefit of this, you take a little bit of extra time to go around with a Bezier curve, you're going to get the actual wrinkles and crinkles of the piece of paper. Now, we're going to export this out, and we're going to bring it into Blender. So then I come over here to Blender, and I make myself a plane. This plane should have the same ratio as a piece of paper, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. If you do the ratio on that, 8.5 divided by 11, you get a ratio, you get a percentage of 0.77. So we go ahead and put that into the X right here, and now we have paper size. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to come over here to shading, and you're going to make yourself an image texture. It's pretty simple, and it's also really pretty cool. You add in the image texture, and then you go find it here. It's going to be blank. You're going to hit the open image button here, and you add it in. Initially, when it comes in, it'll look okay, but you're not going to have the transparency. So you see what I cut out there? The alpha channel. You bring the alpha channel in like this. All is good. And so then now you've got yourself a pretty nice looking asset that is based on a real object. The thing that comes from real life that's got, again, all the scratches and crinkles that a real object would. Now what you do with this is create as many more as you want. And I'll show you what we have here. We don't really need this plane on down here. So you see, I've got a few more stacked on top of each other, and they've been bent a little bit. Okay, so I will hit, let's see, let's move this one over here. Okay, you see? And if I tab into edit mode, what I've done is I've added some subdivisions and I've moved some of the points around. I've also added in a subdivision surface. I don't know if you always want to have that or not, but I think it's kind of nice so you don't see the sharp crinkles on the paper, but maybe you want those. So I did that to multiple different ones. So now I've got 4, in this case, different assets from the same image with different types of deformations on them. Now if I get out of edit mode here, what I done originally was I had these all laid out here so I could see them, but then just before I export them as an FBX, I move each one back over to X0 so they're all in the same location, or more specifically, the pivot point in Unreal Engine will be down here in the middle for each one. If you don't do that, then say this one here, it's going to have a pivot point way off to the side like that. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we pick each one of these, and then we're going to export these all as one FBX. So this is really efficient as well. Before you do this, notice you kind of want to make sure you name these to make things a little bit easier. But I'll take this, I'll export it as an FBX file. Then once I have that exported, then I can come back over to Unreal Engine and I can drag them in. Now when I import these into Unreal Engine, if I check a certain box, they will break them out into their individual static meshes. I'll show you how that works. I'll make a new folder, test. We'll get into it. I'll grab the FBX file here. I'll drop it in. And when you go to import it, a couple things to watch for. right here under static meshes. It's not checked by default, so if you haven't used it, then it's fine. But this one will combine all the static meshes into one, so make sure that's unchecked. Then the other thing, if you've been messing around with this, is make sure that you are importing materials. This one is checked by default, but very frequently we'll make something in Blender and we're going to add a material from somewhere else, and so we will uncheck this one. Now, because Blender has such a different size scale and I didn't want to scale it down to an actual piece of paper size, I exported it out of Blender at 0.2. You could leave it at 1 and then you could scale it here if you like. Import, give it a second, and they'll all break out into their individual static meshes. Now, another thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to fix the material a little bit. So when textures come in from Blender, Unreal does its best job to try to fix things, but it doesn't quite get it right. So you see, we don't have the alpha channel working here. So you're going to double click on the material, and we'll go ahead and move this out of the way. What I want is this diffuse map right here, and what we want to do is take the alpha channel from here and plug it into the opacity mask over here, but as you can see, it's grayed out. So we're going to click on the output and come over here to the details and change it from opaque to masked. Then opacity mask will light up. We can take the alpha channel and we can plug it in. Before I do that, by the way, come over here and change this to plain, and then things are going to look a lot better. So you can see there is the black edge, and then when I connect the opacity mask, all is good. So we'll go ahead and play this, come up here, take a look, and we can see that they look pretty good. We got various different shapes. Place them on the surface, of course, that you want. When you go to place them, you're going to want to move them just a tiny little bit. So remember to go ahead and turn off the locking for your rotation. You'll need it here and there. Just get used to the idea of having it on when you need it, turn it off when you don't. And what I mean is, if a human put this up on the wall here, they're probably not going to put it perfect, right? So just kind of kick it off to the side a little bit. And then if you find other ones like this one over here that I made a little extra bent, well, it kind of looks pretty good laying off the corner of the table there. One last thing that you should know about is that in Unreal Engine, a plane like this with the texture on one side is not going to be visible from the other side. So if you bring it in and it looks like this, well, you might just be on the wrong side. So we'll go ahead and rotate that. So again, that's a nice fast way to get yourself an asset that's based on a real life product. And in my case, I get to save something that has been around for a long time, and then I can see it again whenever I want to use it inside of one of my projects.